You're watching Let the Quran Speak, and now we answer your questions. If you have a question, visit our website, QuranSpeaks.com. Dr. Shabir, the question is swearing haram even if I don't mean anything bad?
Yeah, so, people, swearing has become so commonplace now that people, just use the word and it becomes part of their normal conversation, it will seem. And, judging from the movies and other shows that are available nowadays and widely watched, you wonder how people might be able to save themselves from falling into the habit of swearing because, you imbibe a lot of these shows. Eventually, you start thinking in the same language of what you have heard. And the language is terrible. Like you might find sometimes in a 2-hour movie, of 120 minutes long, obviously you have 166 uses of the swear word. So naturally, people have to be circumspect and think about what they're watching before they start watching, right? And especially if they have children around. It's become commonplace, but that doesn't mean that Muslims should adopt it. Muslims should still remain of pristine character to the best of their ability. You don't mean anything by it, but still you have to avoid foul words. The Quran tells us every deed, big and small, are being recorded and will be shown these on the Day of Judgment. So we don't want to see even the small things. The Quran says, وَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَن يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Whoever does even an atom's weight of good deed will see it on the Day of Judgment, and whoever does even an atom weight of evil will also see that. Another verse of the Quran says, مَا يَلْفَظُ مِنْ قَوْلٍ إِلَّا لَدَيْهِ رَقِيبٌ عَتِيدٌ. One does not even utter a single word except that there is a watcher that is writing down all of the person's words. Elsewhere in the Quran, we read that people will be shown the record of deeds on the Day of Judgment. And they will say, مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا. What sort of book is this? It does not leave out anything, but has recorded everything, big or small. Mm-hmm. So all of our deeds are being recorded. We don't want to have negative things written in our record. And certainly using foul words and so on, this is something that is unbecoming of Muslims.
What about some words that have just become so commonplace that you don't necessarily think of them as foul anymore, right? They've lost their initial or original meaning, Dr. Shabir.
Yeah, I don't want to ask you for any examples, and I can't think of what words would escape this. But language evolves over time, and if, of course, a word has become infused in our common everyday language to the extent that they are no longer considered by anyone to be foul words, then I wouldn't blame Muslims for using those words, because you're there in a society and this is what is normal in the society. And in every society, there's a distinction between what is foul and what is noble, right? Mm-hmm. So if something is not considered to be, and of course there are degrees of nobility, right? People go to special schools to be trained to, how they're going to behave as a member of a royal family, for example. I'm not talking about that level of nobility, but I'm talking about decency in society, right? What would be decent and normal within your environment or circumstances or the place and time in which you live and so on. But the Muslim should always be picking the best of what's available. Don't go to the lowest common denominator. Like if you work in a factory and everybody is swearing around you, it doesn't mean that you say, because I'm working in a factory, I'll swear like the other people. Because in the wider society, this is still frowned upon. This is still thought to be ignoble speech. So you should, adopt the best that is available around you, without trying to, be the obvious odd one out. Okay.
Lots to think about there. Thank you, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Muslim Media Hub, the new home of Let the Quran Speak.
Here we spread positivity and good. We help people experience the beauty of Islam and help them appreciate and understand Muslims.
This beautiful building we purchased at cost $2.3 million.
Yeah, we've already raised a third of that money, and with your help, inshallah, we can pay off the rest.
So we're looking for people who can give $1,000 each. If you can be part of the select group, that's amazing.
Otherwise, just please give whatever wherever you can. Every dollar counts.
It's our collective responsibility to share the message of Islam with our fellow human beings. Please help us continue this good work.
It's a sadaqah jariyah, something that will continue to be a benefit to the Muslim community long after Safiya and I are gone.
Please support our work at muslimmediahub.com.
Your support is zakat eligible and tax deductible.
May Allah bless you and your loved ones today and always. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.